I am going to teach you 3 sales tips that are going to help you as a coach get more clients. Now, before I jump into that, I want to just say that here I in this instance, I am assuming that you have an aligned niche and that you are fully aligned in your business. If you don't know what your niche is, if you don't feel that sense of alignment in your business, go head over to my playlist, How to Find Your Niche, and watch those videos, because this is relevant to people who are grounded in their niche and know what their coaching business is. Totally okay if you're not there yet. Just go over and watch those videos so that we can find you that alignment, because that is key in getting sales and booking more clients in your business. Now, tip number 1, I highly suggest that you take your calendar off of your website, off of your Instagram, anywhere. You don't want anybody booking a discovery call with you. Your time is money, and your close rate will increase exponentially when you know who you are getting on a discovery call with. It is so nerve-wracking not knowing who you're walking into, not knowing if you can help them, not knowing if the conversation's gonna be awkward, and not knowing how to say no, if you're gonna have to say no. When you have those thoughts and that anxiety going into a call, your energy is gonna radiate that. And you're not going to be able to actively listen to this person because you're just worried about what they're going to say, not actively listening to what they are saying. Active listening is a huge part in sales. So you want to make sure that you know who you are walking into, what they are struggling with, that you can help them, and preferably that there is a relationship there already, because that's only going to help you. Tip number 2, make sure that the conversation is consensual. I preach consensual sales, and here's why. If you have it in your profile, book a coffee chat with me, right? And somebody sees that as an opportunity, like, oh great, yeah, we can just sit down for a virtual cup of coffee for 30 minutes and I can pick their brain. That's their expectation, right? Whereas your expectation is, oh sweet, so-and-so just booked a discovery call with me. Can't wait to talk about my program. They're not expecting that at all. That's not consensual. And nobody likes surprises when it comes to sales. Leave the surprises out with sales. Make sure that the expectations are managed and that people know that they are getting on a discovery call or a sales call with you. I would call it by one of those 2 terms so that there's no questions there. Nothing worse than somebody being sold to when that's like the last thing that they're expecting. It's an immediate washout, and just avoid that at all costs. I find that people will get fluffy and say coffee chat, for instance, because they're embarrassed to sell, right? Quote unquote sell. They're embarrassed to talk about their program. They want to just kind of shoot the breeze with somebody and just hope that the person's like, oh yeah, I want to join your program. Perfect, right? If sales was that easy, then everyone would be doing it. And there's a reason why not everyone is a coach, right? Because it can be hard at times. So make sure that the expectations are managed on both ends there. And tip number 3, this is an unpopular opinion, but it is something that I swear by because it shows integrity and it shows that you're not just, desperate for the next dollar in your business. But a lot of sales professionals don't agree with this. It's worked fantastic for me and for my clients. And here's what it is. Don't ask for an answer on your discovery call. Do this instead. So don't just not ask for an answer and then just, goodbye and get off the call and that's it. Don't ask for an answer, and I'll walk through how to do that in 1 second. But make sure, and I want to emphasize this because if you do not do this part, you will leave money on the table. Make sure you ask them for a follow-up time and place. So here's what this looks like. After we go through a discovery call, I hear their pains and what they're looking for. They're a great fit for me and my program. I'm a great fit for them. I talk about my program. I share the price. I always pause after I share the price to see if, to get their agreement. Once they acknowledge the price, I move forward. And I always say, I don't want an answer from you right now. I want you to think about this. I want you to go back and marinate on it. I want you to talk to your partner with it if that resonates with you. Some people, of course, that doesn't resonate with, but if that feels like something that you would like to do, I want to give you the space to do that. I want you to sit with yourself. I want you to journal on it. I want you to ask for a sign that this is the best way to go for you. Whatever you feel you need to do, I want you to make sure that you have the space to do that. Why do I do that? One, because I want that person to be a 110% hell yes. I do not want them to be excited and just say, oh yeah, and then hop off the call, get the contract over, and then maybe they pay a deposit, and then the next week they're like, oh crap, like I don't think I can do this, and back out. I have never, ever, ever once had a client back out who has agreed once I've given them the space to move forward. They've never backed out. I hear all the time that coaches have clients who make it halfway through and then they, cite financial problems and they stop paying and it's a disaster. And it's because we jump down their throats for an answer. Do not do that. Operate with integrity. It goes a long way because 99% of coaches out there are not doing that. And give them the space they need. Give them as long as they say they need. Most people, about 95% of people, in my experience, will want to follow up in the coming days. So here's what I mean by that. Tell them you want to give them the space. Let them know that you do not want an answer right now. But when can I follow up with you and where? I'm very adamant on that because you're getting your space and now I need to know when we're touching base. And it's not all right, well, we'll just touch base in a few weeks. No, I want a date, I want a time, and I want a method of communication. That's it. And those are the three things that I will get in that instance that you would have to get as well to really make sure that this works. So most times, and I find that about 95% of the people who do end up moving forward, they will get back to you. They will choose a time within that week. So if you're chatting on a Tuesday, they'll likely be like, okay, Friday at noon in my Instagram DMs where we've already been talking, follow up with me there through a voice note. Perfect. Because that manages the expectations and it makes it consensual. So they know I will be following up with you Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time through a voice note in your Instagram DMs. I have never, ever, ever, ever had somebody ghost me on that. And I have done a ton of discovery calls because it's consensual and expectations are managed. Doing that, I tell you, has legitimately, my closing rate has increased by 80% since I've done that. People don't like to be on the spot, right? That's why a lot of people hate going to buy a car. When they have somebody breathing down their neck or going to Nordstrom and the person's on a commission base and just following you around and just on your ankles every single step that you take. Nobody wants that. They want space to make a decision. And especially if you have a high ticket program, they want to really feel called to move forward with that. And if your client's not 110% hell yes, shouting it from the rooftop, one, they might back out midway through. That would really suck. Even if you have a contract, that's just a whole disaster. Two, they're not going to put all their effort into it. That's a result that you could be preaching, right? If they get a good result from you, that's huge because you've made a huge impact in their lives, right? They're going to write you a great testimonial. They're going to refer people to you. You miss out on that if you're jumping down their throats on a discovery call to get their money because you're desperate for their money, right? Don't act out of desperation in sales. It's the worst thing you can do. People pick up on that immediately. Because you've made it to the end, I have a little bonus tip here, and I'm going to put a video that links to me describing this in further depth in the comments below, so go check that out. But my fourth bonus tip here is make sure you use an upfront contract in every single one of your discovery calls so that you maintain control of the conversation. Having control in sales is huge, and that does not mean super masculine, macho, dominating energy on your sales calls. No, it's just being assertive and making sure that you are maintaining the flow of that conversation while being friendly at the same time. I always say that sales calls should be like you're sitting down and you're talking with a friend. That's exactly how it should feel. There's no pressure, there's no awkwardness, it's free flowing. And if it's not free flowing, then maybe you and this person don't align, and them being a client wouldn't be the best idea anyways, right? So I'm gonna put a video onto what an upfront contract is, the upfront contract that I give on my sales calls that helps me immensely, so that you can make sure that you are maintaining control of these conversations. Any sales questions you have, leave them below. I'll make a video on them, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any of these mini trainings.